The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
Welcome to another great episode of the Great Debaters Contest. We're in Eldoret region and I am Austin Nyumbok. Our motion today is Dictators should be given immunity in exchange for their resignation. We have Metkei going against Cheptil. Whoever will be the victor, we are yet to know. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
It was my cousin's passion for study that got her a chance to study in one of the greatest universities in Libya. Too bad for her there broke a war between the supporters of the then president, who was a dictator, Muammar Gaddafi, and his opponents. From then, my cousin still lives with the painful torment of what she went through in the hands of the supporters of Muammar Gaddafi. That is why today I'm here to strongly support the motion that states that dictators should be given immunity in exchange for their resignation and not the use of force. First of all, dictators are the leaders who got the total mandate of a country and who have total leadership upon themselves. Immunity is a state whereby a political leader is confirmed to that no action can be taken against him, actions like being sued if he's not informed. I'm here to strongly propose the motion because use of force will definitely lead to war and bloodshed. We can take a good example of Iraq, Pakistan, and Iran, who have war in their countries simply because they are adamant to using peaceful methods of getting rid of these dictator presidents in their country. Hence, they resolved to using war. And at this particular time, you can see that they're really facing problems because they are great war in their countries. Use of force simply leads to disruption of our economy. Take a very good example of Uganda, where Idi Amin tried to use force to outdo President Yoweri Museveni. And at this particular time, we all know that Uganda are facing many crises in terms of their economic development. And we all know that their currency has very low value because of the problems that they faced by then. Ali Abdullah Saleh, the president of Yemen, was offered immunity in exchange for his resignation in the year 2011, and that is the reason why today Yemen is one of the most developed countries, because they were against the use of war and they used peaceful methods. They used peaceful methods because they were ready to give him immunity in exchange for his resignation, and at this particular time they are much stable. My fellow Kenyans, we all know that words cut sharper than swords, and that's the reason why the greatest fighters use their brains to fight and know their strength. And maybe that's just one of the reasons why we are here today to debate and not out in the streets protesting, because we know that words can work and war cannot lead to anything, because what will be the use to say that we promote justice while we know that we have the guilt of having someone's blood in our hands? It's Muhwana Chebukwa, first proposer, the great Metkei. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your argument.
Those who kill by the road should die by the road. From the great Cheptil International Sporting Center is Vivian Jepkembai. Dictators should be given immunity in exchange for their resignation. This sounds illogic. Resignation is to give up a position. Immunity is protection against any form of incarceration or execution. Dictators are people who take complete control of our country. They are economic saboteurs. They are executors. They carry out extrajudicial killings. Should these people be given immunity, or should they be done some justice? For one reason, I can say that dictators should not be given immunity, so that those people who are victims of their aggressions can feel rewarded, or their justice is done for them. Take, for instance, during the reign of Adolf Hitler, 1933 to 1945, there was Holocaust, which led to death of 3.5 million Jews. In Iraq, during the reign of Saddam Hussein, a horrifying picture of 70 to 125 people died daily for 8,000 days that Hussein ruled. Tell me, what does he deserve? Huh? How can he be let scot-free after killing that number? If he had been left alive, imagine 70 to 125 people daily dying. Think about that. Secondly, how sure are we that when these dictators are let scot-free, they'll stop their aggression? As a dictator, I'm let scot-free. The state is taking care of me. What prevents me from going on with my aggression? What? There's nothing. That's like I'm facing a lion. Oh, Mr. Lion, an angry lion. Oh, lion, please spare me for this time. I'll bring you a sweet antelope. And then I turn to go. What do I expect? Would that lion just stay and say, I'll wait for the antelope? No. Remember an instance in Italy and Germany, Benito Mussolini and Hitler. They were appeased. But what did they do? They just remain in power, going on with their aggression. They know that, of course, they're going to say, oh, do this, we'll do this to you, and nothing else. Thirdly, giving immunity to the dictators means that you are encouraging other dictators to come. Because they know, after all, I am untouchable. Nothing's going to happen to me. I will do my aggressions and just go home free, rich. I have done my part. So think twice. Those who kill by the road should die by the road. Thank you.
Margaret Ogolla, one of the great legends in writing in Kenya, clearly stated in his book, The River and the Source, that it doesn't pay to hit your head against your trunk. At most, you might chip a bark from the trunk, and that in exchange, get a large bruise on your head. Should we hit our heads against trunk and chip off barks and instead get bruises? One thing I want to remind you is that a dictator is a person who holds absolute power in a state. You are a local mwananchi. The power you hold is merely able to enable you to defend your name before your local men, and yet you want to go against a person who holds powers of the entire nation. It doesn't make sense. Come on, it doesn't beat logic. It has been stated by philosophers who have done research that the best way to get your enemy to their knees is being kind to them, not a sword for a sword. If we are kind to these people, these dictators will touch their hearts, will create remorse within their hearts for what they did, for the lives that they caused, for the lives that they took away. But instead, if we take up arms and fight against them, we'll be fighting a battle against our own sides. Remember, I quote from Timothy Arege's book, Mstahiki Mea, kushindana na viongozi ni kama kushindana na ndovu, utapasuka msamba. There is no need for us to fight against people who have a lot of power. The best thing is to negotiate to get a win-win situation. You asked, for how long are we going to allow these dictators to have their way? We are not allowing these dictators to have their way. Come to think of it, just as my co-proposer said, Yemen's Ali Abdullah Saleh was given immunity. And actually at the moment, can't you see the way he's modeling other leaders to be good leaders? Yet you're still telling us that actually we are letting them have their way. I believe you're creating role models who will fight against injustices in the society because they know what it feels to kill another person, because they know what it feels to hurt a society. This dictator is a human being like you and I who makes mistakes. And when you make mistakes, all you need is pardon. You don't need murder. If we have to have murder for us to have a just society, then we'd rather have an unjust society with people. Come to think of it, a dictator has a family. A dictator has a friend. This is a society. And do you think you'll kill my father who's a dictator? Do you think you'll kill my friend who's a dictator and have me sit down and watch you have your way? I will have the desire for revenge. I will have the desire to pay back, and be sure my payback is going to be greater than what you did. And by doing this, are we creating a just society? Are we getting rid of dictatorship, or we are worsening the situation? We are breaking down what they have taken so many years to build. If you believe in humanity, let us spare those lives that will be lost if we use other means that are not peaceful. Negotiation is the key to get a win-win society, not a win-lose society. I am Kamau Catherine, the great Metkei Girls High School.
Cheptil, you have 3 minutes for your cross-examination.
If one potato gets spoiled, you better remove it before the whole sack gets spoiled. From the great Cheptil International Sporting Center, Millicent Chepkemboi, opposing. You are talking of bloodshed. Come to look at this, that if we just leave this, we just give them immune, these dictators, there will be no bloodshed. Let me tell you one thing. If you talk of bloodshed, how many people have these dictators killed? Yes? Just look at the Hitlers. They killed over 500,000 people and over 100,000 soldiers died. And you are still talking of bloodshed. Who are these people who are causing bloodshed? Is it not the dictators themselves? Of course they are. And you are talking that if we just give them immune, we will reduce bloodshed. No, it can't happen. You are talking of just being kind to them. How can you be kind to someone who you are sympathizing with someone who is not even sympathizing himself? You are being kind to someone who is inhuman. He doesn't even care about the life of others, and yet you want to sympathize with them. Even you are talking of killing them. We are not only meaning that you must kill them. You can even take back everything that they grabbed from maybe the country, or even for, maybe let's use land. If they had grabbed land, you take it back. That's not killing. Yes, if you now don't tell us that killing them will not help. And then you are talking of just negotiating. Look at Benito and Hitler. Even after negotiating, they took advantage of the negotiation and went ahead and continued with their dictatorship. They went ahead and continued with what they were doing, of which it was wrong to people. Then let me tell you one thing. If we just give them immune and leave them to continue with what they are doing, and you want them to resign peacefully. If they had grabbed a huge portion of land and they had stolen a lot of money from the government and everything, they will resign, but the property will still belong to them. If they had grabbed maybe a land that is equal to a city, that city will belong to them, because you have just left them to resign peacefully. You have not taken anything from them. It will belong to them. Look at Tesiseku, what he did. Even after he was left without, he was just left that way. And everything that he had grabbed still belonged to them, belonged to him. Now what I want to tell you is that it's better you remove that one potato that it has rotten than you leave the whole sack to rot. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your questions. The proposition have been asked, how would those people who have been oppressed by dictators feel upon showing kindness to those specific dictators? Well, the opposition have been asked, explain how dictators cause bloodshed.
Tobelimoy Dorothy, proposition. Thank you, Faith, for your question. You've asked how the families of those who have lost their loved one will feel if the leader is pardoned through immunity. And how do you think they will feel when more of their family members die due to the civic war that will be caused due to intervention if the dictator is not given immunity? A dictator can take immunity and When this immunity has been done on him, he will be able to reform. Now, back in the day, when you steal something from someone, your hand would be chopped off. But now, when you steal something from someone, you are taken to prison where you are rehabilitated, and you will be able, when you come back to society, you will be an honorable and honest man. Now, why should we kill the dictators while there is a better method of using in order to sustain them and hit killing both birds with one stone? Now, when we apply intervention, we will be able to create a civil war which will lead to a bad economy. But when we use immunity, we will be able to still maintain our economy, and we would have removed the dictator from power. Now, when the dictator has refused the immunity, intervention is applied. But the intervention used in immunity will not lead to a civil war, unlike the intervention that my very learned opposers are opting for. When this intervention is going to be taken place, our economy is going to seriously deteriorate. Killing of dictators gives the country a bad name. For example, the way Gaddafi was killed, it portrayed a bad image of the country. Now, let's think like an investor. If I'm an investor and I'm interested in investing in your country, and yet your leader is a dictator, if you're opting for intervention, will I still come and invest in that country while I know there is a civil war around the corner? Or will I not opt to come and invest in your country because I know that you have applied immunity and there will be peace in that country? Harvard School of Philosophy have said that immunity is the best way of handling dictators other than intervention. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to answer the question.
Floor is honored, audience at large. Mesha Kangogo from Cheptil International Sporting Center. I would like to thank you for asking this question because it's going to explain to the proposers and my audience at large how this bloodshed is caused. Now, this bloodshed is caused whereby these dictators, they organize coups in order to remove all those who are in their way. We know that dictators, almost everyone is against dictatorship. And those who are against dictatorship, if they mention anything against that certain dictator, that dictator is going to organize some assassins these assassins are going to assassinate those particular personnel who are against this dictator. And by so doing, they will be causing bloodshed. We can take, for instance, we can talk of Gaddafi of Libya. Gaddafi of Libya was a dictator, and he used this power as a leader to organize coups to do away with those who are against him. And for that, he caused the death of over 2,000 soldiers and over 70,000 civilians while he was in power. Can you imagine? 2,000 soldiers and 70,000 innocent civilians. We are talking about innocent civilians. Can you imagine innocent civilians? 70,000 of them being killed. We are against immunity. But we are not saying these leaders should be killed. These leaders should face justice. Justice must prevail. And no one, either you are a leader, either you are an ordinary citizen, no one is above the law. And so these leaders, these dictators, they should face justice in a way that they undergo a trial, and after undergoing this trial, they may be incarcerated. And by so doing, they will be ruined. We talk of a dictator who is a leader, and a leader is always a leader. A leader has got 3 things in common. One is that they have got power, money, and connection. If this leader is incarcerated, he's going to lose connection, power, and money. So when he loses power, connection, and money, there's no way he's going to undertake his dictatorship. So we are not talking about killing alone, but also other method of acquiring justice like through a trial. We can talk of Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein killed over 25 leaders and again over 5,000 civilians while he was a leader. In conclusion, I would like to say that let's do away with all these dictators for a better future, a better tomorrow. Let's think of the future generation. Thank you.
Time for final submissions. Proposition, you have 1 minute.
You are a human being like I am, and I don't deny the fact that you all make mistakes. But there are better ways of coming to terms that you've made mistakes and correcting them, rather than killing people, rather than looking for ways that will cause the lives of many others. Remember that you're saying that you should use the law. Remember that this person wields all the law and is not susceptible to the law on the condition that he bears the title, a dictator. If you are concerned about the human race, you will consider the many who will die if we don't embrace immunity as a way of getting rid of these dictators. It doesn't take much strength to come to terms with them and tell them that you want you to get down from power and we promise you this and this, rather than taking up swords, taking up arms and draining all our energies, trying to fight a battle against our own sides. It's high time we let reason prevail. Let reason take its course. We rest our case.
Opposition, you have 1 minute to make your final submission.
Mesha Kangogo again. You're talking about a peaceful method of solving this problem. Let's do it in a peaceful way that is going to benefit both the family members of the dictator and the citizens at large. Take these dictators on trial, take them to court, and let them face justice, because no one is above the law. Whether you are a leader or not, we are all the same, and we should face what is supposed to be faced. We should not be let scot-free, yet we know we have wronged the law. These laws are here to govern us. Whether you are a leader or not, you must face the law. Thank you.
Cheptil. We'll start with Cheptil and Vivian. Vivian, you gave a very good definition of the motion by giving the words, but I would want to say one thing. You have to try and relaxing a bit on stage. I actually saw you clenching your fist at some point. Just relax. As you relax, you're able to give a better debate. Otherwise, you gave the facts on Hitler, but I didn't agree with it because Hitler was not pardoned. Actually, they went for him, and that's when he chose to commit suicide. So next time, maybe research more. Otherwise, still a good debater. We go to Millicent. Millicent, you kept saying that they should be given maybe given immunity. Next time, don't have those kinds of errors. Given immunity. You actually appealed to our emotions. That was the good part. You appealed to emotion that I felt how these people who lost their lives, it was really painful. Discussion was quite good. You mastered the topic. You researched on it well. We go to Meshach. Meshach, you started off weakly, but you ended quite well. You're a good debater. You're passionate. The closing statement was good. You gave reference to leaders, actual leaders who have been dictators, and the effect on the people. Very good, Meshach, and all the best to your team.
Metkei girls. Chibukwa, you are a very good debater, but this time you hesitated because you are not sure of the topic. Mastery of the topic was a problem to you. Still, you came out well. And then, Catherine, you are passionate. You went around that and you gave us, you appealed to our emotions about a dictator having a family and friends. And it was appealing to the emotions of the audience. And that was good. Dorothy, you are a good debater. You gave a good rejoinder to the question that was asked. All in all, it was a good debate. All the best to both teams.
Cheptil High School, you were awarded 65%. Please give them a round of applause. Metkei Girls High School, the judges saw it fit to award you 70.5%. Please give them a powerful round of applause. They are our winners for today. Now, big congratulations to the two teams on stage. We'd also like to thank you, our studio audience, and also our viewers back home. Thank you for watching. Keep the conversation going on social media. Hashtag GDC for SDGs. A big shout out to Safaricom Blaze. I've been your host, Austin Yumbok. Catch you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.